speaking of quick hitters, keys to the game, bold prediction, and our score prediction, always start with the keys to the game. What is your key to the game? All right, so that leads us into the last segment of the show, the quick hitters. Always do them at the end of the podcast. Doing them a little bit differently this time. Nothing's changing on the podcast. However, we are going to record them and just have a little clip on YouTube. Obviously, we like to keep the content that is on the podcast and on YouTube different because, I mean, that just, gives anyone that wants to watch our content, it gives them something different on the podcast, different on YouTube. But we are going to include the quick hitters on YouTube.
Yeah, we're wanting to switch things up a little bit and bring people who may watch us on YouTube more.
Maybe
they just watch
even though we mention the podcast a lot, maybe they don't know about the podcast.
Right, and maybe
bring them the bold predictions, bring them the keys to the game.
Exactly.
They need to hear this stuff. So, speaking of quick hitters, keys to the game, bold prediction, and our score prediction, always start with the keys to the game. What is your key to the game?
Key to the game is going to be the Titans need to start hot this game and keep their foot on the gas. Just the offense needs to be clicking. The defense needs to come out aggressive. They need to get out to a hot start and not give this Jaguars team any hope at all.
In my opinion, the key to the game, if the Titans want to win, they're going to have to make sure that they're keeping tabs on James Robinson. The dude is really good. And they just have to make sure that they're not letting him carry this offense by himself. I mean, they run through James Robinson.
I agree. And I was actually, I was going back and forth on the key to the game that I was going to give. I was thinking about that. Kind of figured that was going to be the way you went, though. And, what fun is it if we have the same key to the game? I mean,
I just take the easy one. The one that's, I mean, obviously, for me, every week there's one thing that absolutely stands out to me.
I have like 20 different things in my head that I can pick from. So,
normally when we get to our bold predictions, you want to be able to hit on at least one of them, so you throw all of them out.
Oh my gosh! Anyway, talking about our bold predictions, what is your bold prediction going to be this week?
I told you earlier in the podcast that I thought the Titans were gonna have to go to some different people for their scoring in this next week. I still think that is true, and my bold prediction is going to be that none of the Titans' top 3 touchdown scorers this year, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Jonnu Smith, none of those 3 will have a touchdown in this game against the Jaguars. Don't only call it a bold prediction, but call it a lock.
Wow. Okay. Henry, Jonnu, and A.J. Brown, none of them will have a touchdown.
Call it a lock. They're going to have to go to guys. Corey Davis, if Darrington Evans comes back, Darrington Evans. They're going to have to go to guys, Cameron Batson, Anthony Ferkser. I don't know why. I literally have no stats or really any viable reasoning behind that. But call it a lock.
I think that you're maybe letting your fantasy football hopes kind of swing your bold predictions here.
Absolutely not.
I really believe you are.
I would never do it. Never do it.
Because I have all 3 of those guys on my team. Just have a couple of tight ends that produce a little bit more fantasy-wise, so I don't put Jonnu in.
Well, in case you were thinking about it, he's not going to have a touchdown this week.
I hear what you're saying. All right. I'm going to go back to staying away from the Derrick Henry bold predictions.
Okay, yeah, so you stayed away from it for several games, and he played fantastic.
Exactly.
And then you go back to it and you fuck it up. I mean, why, when something is working, why? Why go against it?
Because I got greedy and I wanted him to have that really good game, and I wanted to be right about a bold prediction when he has that really good game. And I said this, I can't remember exactly what I said for him in the Browns game, but while we were at the game, I was like, okay, I'm not picking him again for a bold prediction. Like, every time I do it, it does not work out. So, I'm not going to go him. I'm not going to go A.J. Brown. I'm going to go with Corey Davis. I mean, you said that
You're not going to go with him, and you're not going to go with A.J. Brown because you know that they're not scoring this year.
I want to go with the guy who has, we said that he could have a breakout year this year. And by gosh, he's having a breakout year this year. I'm going to say that Corey Davis puts up 150 receiving yards and a touchdown this week.
So, I mean, essentially a repeat performance from last week.
Pretty much.
What did he have, like 185?
182.
182.
He caught 11 of 12 targets for 182 yards and a touchdown. So he's going to go for $150 this week and another touchdown.
All right. So this week I'll look to improve my bold prediction record against you to 2-0, and you obviously haven't had any. Not 2-0. I've whiffed on several, but I've had one right. I'll look to improve that to 2. Take a 2-point lead against you. Because obviously you haven't had any.
And honestly, getting to this point in the season, unless the Titans make a deep playoff run,
there's not a whole lot of chances left for you to come back.
There's not many chances left. So
you've really got to start making them count.
But I think that Derrick Henry will put an end to your bold prediction there. Just my thoughts.
Hey, we'll see how it goes. And the last quick hitter are score predictions. What do you think? I mean, I personally think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Where's your mind at? What are you thinking?
I'm going with the Titans 35, Jaguars 28.
Okay, decently close game. I mean, listen, the Jaguars, they're capable of keeping this game close. And honestly, I've been biased with my score predictions towards the Titans in the past, and I told myself earlier in the week, actually I told myself during the Browns game, that I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going off of the facts, and I think the Jaguars can keep it close. I personally think it's going to be Titans 31, Jaguars 30.
Wow. Okay, see, the way you were talking there, I thought that you were fixing to throw out for the first time or for the first time during the season, a Titans loss on our score prediction.
That would be a first ever for the Titans Time podcast.
During the season. But yeah, I think even though this Titans team, in my opinion, is going to come in pissed off and refocused, just with how our defense has been this year, I think it will end up being a one-score game. But still, it's the Jaguars. The Titans have to win this, and right. I mean, this is a very important game.
Going forward for the playoff picture.
The Titans, this is a must-win game if they want to win the AFC South.
I agree, absolutely. So guys, with that being said, that's all that we've got for this week's episode of the Titans Time podcast. Let us know what you think about doing the quick hitters, whatever you want to call them, on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, I mean, it's probably not likely that you're going to YouTube and watching those, but if you would, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We would appreciate it if you go over and check out the video too, even if you've already heard it on the podcast. I mean, we still appreciate it, and it helps us out a lot.
Yep. Just, hey, however you're feeling, if you're feeling like hearing them twice, I mean, my bold prediction, it's pretty out there. Might have to hear it twice just to really get a grasp on it.
I don't know that I'd say your bold prediction's really out there.
Oh, okay. So now when it comes true, you're just going to be like, wasn't really that bold.
I'm saying this right now. Did A.J. Brown have a touchdown last week against the Browns?
He did not.
Did Derrick Henry have a touchdown last week against the Browns?
He did not.
Jonnu Smith didn't play.
He didn't play.
But he still didn't have a touchdown against the Browns. Well, hey. So I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there before we even get there. I'm still going to let it count as your bold prediction.
It's bold.
But I don't know how bold it really is.
Or on Twitter, if you're listening to the podcast, is it bold? Is it bold? Just simple answer to the question, is it bold? That's all that we've got for this week's episode of the Titans Time podcast. Make sure that you're checking us out on social media, interacting, everything on there, liking, following, retweeting, all of that good stuff. On Twitter, it's Titans_time. On Instagram, Titans Time Podcast. On YouTube, also Titans Time Podcast. And on Facebook, Titans Time.
Did you hit our website?
TitansTimePodcast.com.
You may have already hit it. I was just
I
want to make
did
sure.
not. I always forget about it.
Guys, if you're listening to the podcast and if you're watching on YouTube, all the apps that our podcast is on will be popping up on the screen. But make sure you subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us some comments, some questions. We'll make sure to include them on the next podcast. Guys, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, make sure you're subscribed to it. Turn on the post notifications. Like the video. Share the video. Comment on the video. Man, I'm telling you, we are loving that interaction. We're going back and forth in the comments. If you're a Jaguars fan checking this out, come on and talk your shit. I said it to the Browns fans in our reaction video that they earned the right to talk their shit. And man, they've been doing it. So Jaguars fans, all 10 of you, just come on, talk your shit. We'll talk it right back. You know, we're having fun with this and enjoy the interaction.
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. I think, personally, we need to get... I feel like the podcast crowd, everyone that listens on there, is probably also watching on YouTube. I don't feel like all of the YouTube crowd is coming to the podcast.
Well, obviously, I mean, you look at the views that we're getting on our YouTube versus how many downloads we're getting on the podcast.
The podcast stats are not quite there yet. So if you are on YouTube, make sure, I mean, we're giving you a little sample of the podcast here. Make sure that you're there. It's Titans time on any podcast platform. Like he said earlier in the video, they'll be popping up. May pop up again. I don't know. I don't control that stuff. So I don't know. But make sure you're coming over here because, I mean, if you enjoy what we've got on YouTube, I think you're going to like what we have on the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Titans Time. And as always, Titan up.